So I'm with Steve Walker here from Dowse Engineering. Steve, purchased a CUBLEX machine, which is a multi-pallet 5-axis machine with turning function on it. We're going to have a look at some of the components that you've now machining here, pretty much, maybe not necessarily in one hit, but 2 operations compared to where you have had to have used a lathe before and then a machining centre. Let's start with this big one. Do you mind just picking this one up and, and maybe telling us what it is and how you benefited from the CUBLEX doing this part?
Right, well this is, it's actually an electric motor housing, so there's a stator part that comes in here, and this is pretty much going to be the future of aviation, little electric motors rather than fuel. Produced on the CUBLEX, as I was saying in my previous video, we can do the turning on the outside diameter, whereas previously a great big long end mill, or you'd have to spin it round with a ball nose over and over and over again. To turn down the length of there is probably 3 minutes.
I mean, you couldn't turn that with a ball nose though, could you, surely?
No, well you can, but you wouldn't achieve the surface finishes, you wouldn't achieve the tolerance in and the consistency of what you get with being able to turn it. So yeah, but also we milled in all the water channels. These are coolant channels for water to flow around. So that's just the milled finish, all in one operation.
Which is great because you know the relationship between the turning op and the milling op is spot on.
Exactly that, yes. Also we can thread turn, we can bore on the inside. So concentricity wise, we know that it's absolutely spot on. Where previously it would have had to be done on a lathe, another boring operation on a lathe, a milling operation on a milling machine. So yeah, time consuming, and you're lending yourself to errors.
And it's an expensive part as well, I'm sure.
It's a very expensive part, yes.
Okay, let's have a look at this one quickly. Much smaller.
Much smaller, produced in quite high volumes by us. Very simple job really. It's again, you could mill the outside of this, not a problem. But because it is a consistent form, it's the turning of it produces a wonderful turn finish, and at the same time we could just mill the bearing bore. Very simple part, but you can load up 32 of these and just let it run.
Perfect illustration. Right, this one's the one that's, I'm not saying the others haven't impressed me, but this one is certainly something that stands out to me.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean this part is sort of a cut above the other parts. Again, this can all be produced on a milling machine. There's lots of milling around the exterior. Again, you'd have to ball nose and spin it round. And you could use boring heads down on the inside. What you won't get on a milling machine is you won't get a turn finish across the face. One boring bar that can do the whole lot, so absolutely perfect. We don't get the uncertainty on repeatability with 4 or 5 boring bars slightly off. It's all concentric, it's absolutely perfectly round.
And you've done this with a grooving tool?
And we've also done this with a grooving tool, yeah. So instead of the part station just rotating, we've got a tool here, in fact. So the part would have been spinning up at about 1500 RPM, and then this comes down the fins, across the bottom, and up again. Very, very, very quick in comparison with a milling machine. Probably no more than 10 minutes here, whereas it'd be at least an hour on a mill.
Okay, now we're really down to, if you wanted to, this part you could machine in 2 operations.
2 operations, yeah, that's right. Whereas if the customer is demanding a turn finish and the necessity for it. So if you didn't have a CUBLEX, you had a MAM, it'd be 2 operations on the MAM as this, but also 2 operations on a lathe. We've cut 2 operations out. So in reality, that's quite a time saving because it isn't just 2 operations, it's 2 setups, 2 operations, 2 lots of inspection.
And you would need a man in between all of that. I say a man, not a man, because on this machine you could put 32 on there overnight and come into a finished 32 components in the morning if the time cycle was...
We make these in small batches, but yeah, we load up 5 or 6 and just let them run.
Great story.
It's an extended part, it runs for a longer time, so...
Great story. So there you have it, CUBLEX. The MAM machine is a 5-axis pallet machine tool. The MAM CUBLEX machine, this CUBLEX-35, has turning included in it as well. Up to 3,000 RPM, I believe, Steve.
3,000 RPM on the turning capabilities, and it has the facility, if you're doing something that's slightly one-sided, you can balance it as well, so it tells you where to put the weights, but it tells you the maximum RPM to preserve the bearings. So yeah, Very versatile, very versatile.
Wow, how impressive is that? Contact Matsuura, matsuura.co.uk.